and services. So just like we just kind of went over how we would profile and segment all of you guys, right? We have hundreds of thousands of customers that are in our Vogaro marketplace and consumers looking for those services. So we have Vogaro.com, which is where people mostly land on Vogaro. And we have an app for consumers to go on and say, and there's probably a lot of improvements you probably could suggest going in there. But they would search in their area for services that they need. And then it's kind of similar to Yelp. They would get like a rating for that group, whoever gave reviews, they can read, them. But you'll hear the kind of the origin story of that. But really, we're trying to connect consumers to the businesses. And that's our benefit. So the benefit is to the consumer and then also to the business because we're helping them drive revenue, right? We're helping them drive more business to their business for their services. And so some of the different services, we actually have over 50 features. So we didn't really want to go through every feature with you guys and bore you. But we have the online booking. So that's basically where consumers can go on and book. The fun thing about booking is they can take the code from that booking and they can put it anywhere on their website, on their Instagram. A lot of our customers are on the salon side, and in salon, they host all of their profile, their gallery of like their work on Instagram and on their social pages, right? So it's just really intuitive for us to have a booking button so that people can see their gallery while they're on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, and then be able to click and go ahead and book a service directly with them. And it goes into Vogaro as well. We have an online store. So any of our businesses can sell their products online. If you're fitness and you have fitness things, you're selling memberships or you're selling classes, we have a live stream feature for that. If you're a salon and you have actually salon products, because a lot of that is, they do your hair, but then you walk out and you're like, oh, my hair is great, but how do I do that at home, right? I want to buy all the products. So they have their products online as well. We also have, interesting businesses like guitar lessons. I think horseback riding is something that we have businesses on there as well. So we're expanding outside of our verticals. Employee management, so you can manage your employees. For salons specifically, they have stylists, they rent a booth. So the stylists actually own their own kind of individual business, but they work at a salon or they use a salon and they pay rent for their booth there. So you can manage the rent through there. If you have regular employees, you can manage payroll through there. You can manage calendars and times. So you can also do that there. Merchant services, as you guys probably know what merchant services is, you can charge and go straight to your bank. Marketing services. So we're expanding on our marketing services, but we do have some intelligence for them to do text marketing and email marketing through our app. And it's great because they have all of that data that comes from, hey, I have somebody that just had an appointment and got a haircut. So I want to send out a promotion to everybody that gets regular haircuts, right? We have holidays. So if we have somebody that has been here before for holiday or, maybe specific to that audience, prom, somebody under the age of whatever, or you want to market to moms or what else? Just previous treatments. So any kind of data that you have or history that you have on that customer from being there, you can target them through our app or through our software, through marketing and text. You can follow up on services and then just customer tracking and reports. So you can figure out how to best kind of improve your business or where you might be falling short, where most of your revenue is coming from. And that's really the high level, but there's, like I said, there's probably 50 plus features in the software. So types of businesses, basically we're predominantly focused on beauty, wellness, and fitness. It's really the services that you use to kind of pamper yourself, right? The things that, that you need to kind of maintain. We also have like a med spa in there. We also have like chiropractors in there as well. It's a wide range, but these are the predominant areas. And like more and more, especially over the pandemic, we've gotten tons of businesses. I think we had Cheetos that signed up for a Vagaro account one time. And we looked and we said, why is Cheetos signing up for a Vagaro account? And they had some sort of booth in New York that they were using. It was an event that they wanted to use Vagaro to like track signups and do things virtually. And so little by little, we're just kind of evolving into just an overall business management software, but our bread and butter are these three verticals. Yeah.
Okay, so now you get to hear a little bit about the origin story of Vagaro.
I think
Here at Vagaro, we make it a point to get to know you and your business. We think it's about time you get to know us too. This business management software started in Dublin, a town just outside of San Francisco, California. We have now grown throughout the United States and internationally. But even though Vagaro began in 2009, the idea was sparked much earlier.
I grew up in Lebanon during the war. The minute I finished high school, applied for college here, I only had $4,000 on me and I got pickpocketed at Charles de Gaulle airport. So I wound up landing here with no money in my pocket at $0. My name is Fred Maloub and I'm the CEO of Vagaro. That I had required me to fly a lot, so I was always in Japan or Korea, and I would stay 1 or 2 weeks at a time. I'm sitting there and looking in the mirror, and my hair is, I look like I need a haircut. And I knew I'm not going to be back in the US for another 2 weeks. And my hairdresser, if I told him, it usually takes him 2 weeks to take in. So I'm like, I'm not going to get a haircut for another 4 weeks, So I'm like, I wish I could just go online and book that appointment online. So by the time I get back, I can get a haircut the next day. And yeah, that's basically when I had the idea.
Fred began to build a platform where customers could book when it was most convenient for them, and an all-in-one business management software for health, beauty, and wellness professionals.
My name is Kerry Melcher, and I'm the COO of Vagaro. Met Fred at our previous company about 20 years ago. When I first started, I actually wasn't working for Fred. I was renting space from him in the office. So it was a very tiny office. There's only 3 desks in there.
And every now and then we have issues. The phones are flooding with calls. Carrie starts picking up and helping me out. And I noticed he's always answering the phone and, being nice to the customers, doing a good job answering the calls and so on. I'm like, hey, Carrie, you're kind of doing the job. You want a job here? I can't pick much, but can you help me out? And he took my offer, and that's basically how it started.
Fred has always been the idea person. He worked with an extremely large group at our previous company. So being able to, get into the minutia, but then zoom out and see the bigger picture. He's very good at that. He's been good at that since day one. The big differentiator between us and our competitors is we have an app.
We released the app in the App Store. I came into work, and one day we have like 15 customers, and then things change overnight. When you create a company with very little funding, you have to do everything. And yeah, I was 24/7 support, has the whole user interface memorized in my head. I'd answer the phone at 2 a.m. in the morning, just somebody asked me how to upload a photo. I still have a lot of customers that call me that signed up with me from day one. They still have my cell phone number. They call me many times, and I love that.
The customers are the driving force of Vagaro. Every move we make comes from our customers' feedback and is with our community in mind. That's why we made sure to be there for you 24/7 for any support you may need.
To have a successful company, you have to have a good pulse on your customer. I'm happy that these customers still feel comfortable to call me at any time, because you really get an idea of how things are still going as a customer satisfaction. But really, you hear the deep stories and the real issues from your customer better than anybody else. I have customers that I cherish probably for the rest of my life. COVID out of the blue, right? You have to send all employees home. Customers had to shut down. I lost sleep for like 2 weeks. I'm trying to figure out how can we help our customers out. I knew COVID is not going to be done in 2 weeks.
Our CFO and Fred sat down and really looked at the numbers and said, how could we survive without any income coming in. We said, okay, why don't we just give the software to our customers for free until they're back on their feet?
That's when I went back to doing customer support, because I really wanted to hear what our customers' issues are. I always like to hear from my customers directly. When you have 50 or 60,000 right now, customers using your software, you're gonna get a lot of ideas, good ideas on how to improve the software and so on. We have a very good product at a very good price. I always say that we created a Ferrari at the price of Honda-Civics. I feel like we need to give that opportunity for everybody to experience Vagaro and run their business with it, because we know that it's a product that will absolutely improve their business. This year, Vagaro became a unicorn company, which means we are evaluated at over $1 billion. I'm very proud of that moment. You know, I remember when I created it, we weren't thinking $1 billion, you know, I thought $50 million would be great, and we're at $1 billion.
You know, I found out about our evaluation from Fred. And I have to say, it was pretty exciting because in a lot of ways, I still think of us as a small growing company.
And I think it still feels like a startup. I mean, we all here, it just has a startup feel. We still make a lot of mistakes. We still, you know, we're still learning as we go. And I feel like we're barely scratching the surface, you know, and I feel like this is just the beginning.
As we move forward, we continue to put our all into helping professionals grow their businesses. We will continue to hold ourselves to the highest level of integrity, support our community, remain at the forefront of innovation, and never stop pursuing excellence.
All right, thanks to our video team actually that filmed and put that together for us. Yeah, and to be honest, just really quick to touch on our culture, it is really like we do have a startup environment still, which is amazing to me, that we're continuing to scale and grow, but we can keep that grassroots. So that feeling where you heard our CEO say, like, I like to pick up the phone and you know, talk to our customers. He's still like that today. So if he hears there's a customer that's unhappy, he says, bring them in. He'll have them come in the office. He'll sit there and walk them through the software himself. And that's the culture that we have. You know, anyone on my team can come up with an idea, and we do a lot of idea generation. We do a lot of creative brainstorms, and then we back it up with data and analytics. But we start off with these creative brainstorms, and any one of them can see their idea and how it impacts the company. And I hope that never changes within our organization. That's, you know, our methodology. That's how we, you know, hope to continue to grow. So it's a little bit about us. Okay, so I wanted to tell you guys about our methodology a little bit, and I thought it'd be more fun to find something interesting. So who's heard of a float and grill? Nobody, right? So I just thought it was pretty cool. And I wanted to show you like how we think as a marketing team and what type of approach we take, because it's really interesting. It'll tell you guys, you know, what types of fields there are out there in marketing, because there are so many different ways to think and look at marketing. And that's why our team is like really continuing to grow. So imagine, so I know there's some digital or some paid media folks here on that track. But imagine you going on your phone and you're seeing an ad on your phone. It's like you know, in Google, and an ad comes up and it says, hey, buy me this float and grill, right? So what are the odds do you guys think of, you know, just everyone, all of your customers just seeing one ad and going to purchase that? I mean, the odds aren't that great, right? So that's what we consider transactional marketing. And to be honest, like we did start off with some shows, trade shows and knocking on doors and flyers and things like that when Vagaro first began. But we have grown up to be a transactional marketing organization originally. And so what we're moving to, the next slide for me. Oh, so transactional marketing, I'm sure you guys know what that means, right? If you look at the meaning of transactional marketing, it's this focus on that one-off sales transaction. In software, it's totally different. You don't just want that one-off sales transaction, even on the product side, because you want to start to expand your products. But we consider transactional marketing as short-term. The customer contact is low, right? we're expecting them to just see a paid ad and convert and sign up or convert and buy what we're selling. It's a lot of stress on getting new customers. So because you're focused on just those short transactions, every year you have to bring in boatloads of new customers in order to sustain and grow. It's also, we just focus on the sale and getting the order. That's it. Also the object or this, it centers on, you know, just that transaction. And then we call it short and intermittent. And then the customer commitment is low, right? And in software, we want a huge commitment. So if you go to the next slide, if you were on your phone and you were at home and you watched Shark Tank and you saw, oh my gosh, there's a floating grill on here, and you actually saw the pitch, right? You actually related to the owners that were pitching it, and you thought it was like a really awesome idea. And then after that, you saw Dwayne Johnson, I don't know if you guys know who The Rock is, but you saw The Rock on Instagram or something like that, post himself with his buddies using a floating grill. And then next, you know, a friend of a friend, Brittany, actually hosted a party, and she's just like, oh my God, this floating grill is amazing. And then you saw that paid ad. What are the chances of you actually going and buying a floating grill? They're greater, right? Because now you've built a connection. Now you see what the value is to somebody that's kind of somewhere in your circle. You have trust, right? You saw the pitch. So that increases your chances. So if you go to the next slide, that's still not total relationship building. So what you would do next as a company, what we would hope they would do is, okay, now you bought my floating grill. I'm going to give you some barbecue recipes that you can use. So you're constantly using the product, right? We're going to also show you how to throw an epic lake party. So you're putting yourself in situations where you're actually using their product. And then you're going to start to promote to them like, hey, what about all these accessories that you need while you're doing that? And that's where you start to get into selling more products and expanding. And that's relationship marketing. So you started with them building this trust, right? And you continue even after they buy the product, continuing to build that trust, continuing to give them support and like things they need and to use your product. And that's what keeps people in the long run. Like if it breaks, they're going to go buy another one. They're going to become advocates for your product. They're going to talk about it. And so other people are going to buy it. And so if we go to the next slide, now they're able to expand because they have built that trust and they built that brand equity with their audience. So now they can say, now that you trust us because you bought our floating grill and you love it so much, now we can also for your lake parties sell you some party supplies for your lake party. Now we can also you're trusting us, so now we can sell you some other barbecue accessories and barbecue supplies, and they can start to expand. And so that's where we want to get to. Like the transactional marketing is great initially, but as you grow as a business, you definitely want the relationship marketing. And that has to go back to the video that Fred was talking about, picking up the phone and figuring out what our customers really want, what they need, how they use our software, how to engage with them, how to make it better. So when we innovate our software, we don't just sit in a room and come up with our own ideas. We go back to the businesses and ask them, what are the things that you guys need to make your business better? Like, is it more intelligence, right? Is it more features? Is it less features? Is it simplicity of use? And that's what we take and we put that into our product roadmap. So the differences between transactional and relationship marketing, relationship marketing is also in the long term. You're building trust. You're able to grow your brand. You're in it for the long haul. So we just hit $1 billion valuation, but we want to continue to scale and grow. And so we definitely need those relationships. And so the way our team, the methodology that we have is we build what I call a diverse investment portfolio. And we diversify our marketing effort. So these are all the different types of things we do, and then some. There's more that we do beyond this. And so if you look at investors, right, they're investing in multiple things, different types of stocks. Some are high risk, some are low risk. Bonds, you put money in and that's just going to grow steadily over time, and that's something you can count on. Certain things are high risk, but they could have high return, but you're willing to give it that chance, right? And so that's how we look at things. That when we put together our business plan every year, we look at how can we build a diverse portfolio? What are the things that are going to bring us over the top, help us go viral, right? What are the things that are going to keep us steady so that we're always hitting our numbers every month? And we can see that that long-term growth. And so that's why my team is so large and continuing to grow, is because we're diversifying in that sense. Hopefully that makes sense. And so over time, we're building brand equity. So building relationships with them. Brand equity is super important because we obviously want to be the brand of choice. When you are the brand of choice, buyers make a quicker decision, right? Because they're bought into their brand, they're familiar with you. We build those long-term growth, and we gain instant buy-in on things. So that's super important. And then over time, for my paid digital media folks, the digital revenue starts to go up because you have to convince them less, right? It's like less touches because they're already bought into your brand. So our digital revenue starts to go up. Our journey abandonment, which means the people that kind of maybe started to look at us, but then they left and said, oh, no, I'm not ready to make a decision. That number starts to go down because they're bought into us. The time to purchase goes down. So it doesn't take marketing 10, 15 times to like get in front of them before they make a decision and they buy or they sign up with us. And then our ROI goes up. That's good. And so on the paid media side, we're actually, I always tell my team we're here. So our brand awareness, we have a certain amount of brand awareness that we've been focused on in the US, and we have a very specific audience. So I told you it's beauty, wellness, and spa, right? So this is our box that we're at kind of over the years. And now transactional marketing isn't really going to get us to convince the people that are using another software to come over to us, right? It's not going to just take a paid ad anymore. We actually have to educate them on why we're better, right? We have to get comparisons out there for these other softwares that we're comparing ourselves to. We have to get reviews. We have to show them awards, things that we do. What about our innovation? What do they get out of it, right? So it's harder to convince somebody to leave a software and come to a new one. So now we have to put more effort in paid media to try to get those folks, as well as having that diverse portfolio that helps support that, right? Then we have people that just don't know who we are. So we're still working on building that brand equity. And then we have the people that just aren't ready to decide, right? Maybe right now they're using Venmo, they're just, I only have, 10 clients a week. They just Venmo the money to me. I don't know how this is going to be a benefit to me. So we have to convince them that no, you want to grow. If you want more business, more revenue, you need a software like this, and this is why. And like Kurt likes to say, you just need $25 and a dream of Vagaro, and you can start a business. So also things that are hard to measure are, media, obviously commercials and advertising, like magazine ads. We do those things, but we do them with intention. So we know that it is a harder sell to try to get people to sign up for our software. So we go with softer sells with this. And it's also reinforcement in our brand, in building brand equity, right? If they're seeing us in multiple places, then they start to build up a trust, and they start to build up some sort of engagement or relationship with us, and gets them to a quicker decision. So those are just some of the other things.
Okay, so I can talk a little bit about organic marketing, which is what my team is focused on. And really at a high level, what we're trying to do is identify the pain points of our target audience, just understand what they're really struggling with, offer them a solution to those pain points that are tied to the business, and then move them down the marketing funnel. So you're all familiar with the marketing funnel, where there's awareness and then consideration, and then they convert to becoming a customer, and then they become an advocate. So all the content that my team creates helps move people down that funnel and get to the next stage. So the pain point here, just one example might be somebody has difficulty with booking and payments. They're doing it with pen and paper, and they're struggling with it. The solution is our booking software and our credit card payments. And then the result is a happy customer, just to give like an example. So just going through some of the categories we have here. We have blogs for both businesses and consumers. So the user searches with a specific intent, like what's the right age for a first spa visit? They might not even know about Vagaro, but the article that we've written on our blog ranks really well. They find us, they read the article, their question is addressed, and we're viewed as a credible resource for them. So the call to action on that page, a couple examples here of, about Vagaro, try Vagaro now, or download the app. These are things that we're hoping to do to get them to convert. So they might download the app, watch a video, visit a sales page, sign up for a webinar. There's a number of different calls to action. We also just recently launched a podcast. I encourage you to check it out. So we have a number of guests with authority on specific topics in those verticals that Charity talked about. And they're important to our target audiences. And the conversations that Taylor here has with those guests, they create inspiration. They solve those pain points that we talked about. And in the process, Vagaro is sort of subtly highlighted and recognized as a helpful resource. We're not really trying to be an infomercial. We're just trying to slide in there and let people know what we do. So trust is established. And then that combined with really clear calls to action converts those different audiences that are checking out the podcast. And we also have a number of social media accounts aimed at businesses or consumers. Again, I encourage you to follow us, like us, share, all that good stuff. So this is a tool for brand discovery. People who don't know about Vagaro will have visibility to our brand through other people's accounts, people sharing our content, promotion by influencers that we're working with, a number of different ways for us to sort of get in front of people on their phones and on their computers through social media. And the beautiful thing about social media is that it's just a daily drip, drip, drip. There are a number of things where you've got like a big event and then it's over. But social media is always on 24/7. We're publishing content daily. And it just reminds people that we're here and continues to educate them on who we are and what we do. So in the process of doing that, we establish credibility and trust with them. We solve those pain points. Like I said, we have content for every funnel stage to move them to the next stage and drive them to convert. Then we also have a PR program, communications program, targeting a number of audiences: media, influencers, investors, prospective employees, local community members, customers, people who are actually using the product. And we're sharing our company values. So it's not just a product, but it's kind of the values of the company. Do they match my values? Does this fit my emotional interests and my values? So we're establishing credibility and trust. And there's different calls to action for those different audiences. A couple examples here on the screen from our social media. And now we can talk about career opportunities at Vagaro.
Yeah, so the cool thing about everything that Kurt is talking about and everything that I mentioned is we're in that digital transformation stage. I know you guys are probably learning about digital transformation and data and AI, right? And so we have a marketing automation system that we use, HubSpot, and we have so many different types of softwares that are integrated into HubSpot right now. We have even software that's integrated from our customer support desk that shows like when a customer calls, what they're calling about. And so that is going to be triggered into HubSpot, where we know as a marketing team, okay, we have people that are asking like, how do I do more marketing to my consumers, right? And so that'll trigger a workflow of an email campaign that has videos in it, it has tips and tricks in it, right? It has links to landing pages, links to blogs to show them like, here's the best way to market to your consumer. And so we're taking all this data. If you, been on our social site, if you clicked on a paid media ad, if you did a Google search, if you called into our support, if you're actually a customer, like all of that gives us all of this intelligence. It all lives in one system. And then when I'm going to go back to segmenting. Then we go into that system and we can segment the data any type of way we want to. We even know what types of features our customers are using to be able to market to them based on the features that they're using and the features that they're not, so that we can upsell them. So all my AI and data folks, like that is the real key for us in kind of moving forward and trying to really relate to the customer and the prospects to get them interested in the software, using it the way they need to use it, and then also like upselling them on additional features. So in regards to career opportunities, I just wanted to show this chart so you guys can see like how much marketing really plays a part in our entire organization. So we have in the white coming in, these are paid media prospects coming in. And then in the whatever color, yellowish color here, that would be our organic search. So we have a paid media team where we spend a lot of money putting ads in front of people, right? And working on traditional advertising to try to bring these people into the funnel. And then Kurt's team does a really great job, right? And this is where we're having a diverse portfolio where we're trying to build the trust with them and engage with them on also bringing these people into the funnel. So we have these two types of audiences coming in various ways, depending on how we invested and what efforts that we have. And are you guys familiar with tofu, top of the funnel, right? So they come in the tofu model. They get into, middle of the funnel, whether we had to remarket to them to get into the middle of the funnel or where they just naturally, progress to the middle of the funnel. This middle shape right here is really what marketing is capturing, which is most of the share of prospects and businesses coming in. But outside of that, we have people that aren't ready to decide, some people that really want to demo first, or they want to talk to somebody on the phone. And so those folks are kind of on the outlining of this internal shape, and those are our sales leads. So they can chat with our sales team, they can call our sales team, they can go through a demo with them, they can meet with them any way they want to make them feel more comfortable about the software, that they'll do that. And then eventually, obviously we always have people that kind of fall out of the funnel, right? They're not interested, they're not ready to buy, maybe they're a little nervous, is this really for me? So they fall out and then we put them right back into the funnel because we continue to market them. So intelligence tells us, hey, we've already given them kind of top of the funnel, like really light soft sell things. We want to get them back and start continuing to educate them until they're ready to buy. And that's what intelligence does for us. We keep pushing them until they get to the bottom of the funnel and they're ready to decide, and then they convert. So marketing this is our biggest part of what we do, right? This is the biggest chunk. But as they convert, then they become new customers. And for us, a new customer gets access to the software for 30 days for free. They can leave at any time. So they're kind of high risk for us, right? We've got them in, but we totally haven't convinced them because they're not paying yet. So what we want to do is we want to continue to nurture them and get them using the software, get them sticky in the software, getting them to see the benefit. And so we have a bunch of marketing effort to try to get them to do that. So we figure out what their priorities are based on who they are. Based on their priorities, we try to show them how to do it. We send them to webinars, we send them videos of tips and tricks, like everything we can do. By the time they get to a certain point, then we start to learn, like, are they using the software or not? If they're not using the software, then maybe we need somebody to pick up the phone and actually walk them through it, because maybe they're not tech savvy, maybe they're overwhelmed by it. So marketing is involved with the new customers and getting them started. So then once we get them started in the software, when they're actually using it, we have 50+ features. They get a lot of them for that $25 a month. But there's some of them that are an upsell for us. Like we continue to add features. Probably every month to 2 months, we have new robust features that are added to the software. So we'll start to upsell them. So we have email campaigns that upsell them. We have events that upsell them. We have podcasts and testimonial videos that show them how our other customers are using it. So we're still involved in the process and convincing them and getting them to use our software fully. And that's what I'm talking about, relationship marketing. It's not just like getting them in and getting them signed up. We're along with them the entire way. Then they get to be advanced users, which is amazing, because now we're like, okay, now we get to tap into like all the ways you use the software. We can use them as advocates for other customers, right? We use them as learnings to figure out what's missing, what's not missing in the software. How do we market to you better? What was your experience like? You know, and showing to our other customers how advanced they are and how to use it and how beneficial it is. And then we work on getting them to loyal VIP. Some of them fall out along the way, right? They say, okay, this isn't for me, or this is too overwhelming, or I can't afford it. So those that fall out, we have campaigns that we run to try to win them back. You know, what can we do to get you back? What was it that you were missing? What wasn't successful for you? Let's fix it. So all of these steps along the way, marketing is involved in it, and that's like the full scope of relationship marketing. And then, so if you go to, this is our org chart. This is Kirk's team right here. And this just kind of gives you an idea of like all the different types of roles that we have in our team. So the ones in the light blue, we're hiring for right now. So we'll be filling those roles, and then every year we'll continue to grow. But I just wanted you guys to see kind of the variety of positions that are within one company. And then, you know, Bruce, who he also had some work with Apple at one point, he was just telling us about all the different layers in Apple, right? So as you go to larger and larger companies, there's more and more and more layers of marketing positions available. I like this kind of where we are now and probably the next level of growth, because you're still able to wear many hats and like be involved in everything versus just having like that kind of small piece of the pie and just focusing on that every day. So I encourage you guys to get in at a company at our level, or even a little lower, or one step higher, so that you guys can get the full benefit of like all the marketing aspects. Make sense? And then this is our customer design team. So this is the revenue generating team we have. So they offer design services to our customers. So we just don't have a marketing team that spends money. We also, and drives in business, but we also make money for the company as well, offering design services to our customers. So some of them don't even have a logo yet when they sign up for us, or a website, or an app, or don't have their services mapped out, or any of that. Membership cards if you're a gym, or gift cards, or any of that. So this team goes through and they design it. They're actually branching and growing bigger as well starting this year. So yes, these are all the different areas for career opportunities, and we're always looking for more. We have a very creative side of the house, and then we have a very analytic side of the house, but it's a lot of collaboration, and they work really well together because we need both, right? Analytics and what our customers are doing and our prospects are doing drive the creative, and the direction that we're going, the culture of who we are and where we're going as a software, and the innovation also drive, you know, the analytics as well. So it's a good marriage.
So we wanted to just share some career advice with you. And a lot of this is just, you know, it's been true, you know, across generations. It stands the test of time. You know, you can never do enough networking. A couple years ago, I was looking for a job, and at first I just tried doing it like low key. And then I just decided, why don't I just put something on LinkedIn that says, this is what I'm looking for. So that's where a lot of the people that I've met over the years, I'm connected with them. So I published something, and I was stunned by people that I didn't think I really even knew that well. You know, like there was this one woman that I worked with for like 2 months before she went on to another job. I really didn't know her that well. She started throwing job opportunities at me like nobody's business. It became her full-time job, sending me opportunities. And there were several people that were just sending me these opportunities. And I really didn't even know that I'd built up goodwill with them, you know, at different points in my career. And I guess my point there is you never know who it's going to be. It might not be, you know, the people you have the deepest relationships with. So try to go deep but far, you know, deep and wide in terms of your network. And it can be, you know, digital networking. It can be going to events. It can be volunteering is another thing I have here. You know, if you want to build your skill set, but you don't have that gig yet, and you need to build your portfolio or build your expertise, You can volunteer for a nonprofit organization. They're always hungry for help. So it's a great way to build your connections, build your portfolio, establish credibility. Internships, of course, are like more and more important. I feel like that's the gateway into many organizations.
Yeah.
And then I guess I would just also say, like, have a genuine passion for your craft, follow the thought leaders in your space, watch their videos, read their articles, attend their webinars, read their books, really dive in and be passionate about it. And then when you do get that job interview and you've got that, 15 minutes or 30 minutes to sell yourself, when you're talking with that hiring manager, that passion is going to show through, so it just sounds weird to say like have passion for your craft, but there's so many different ways to dive into it and go deep, and it really will shine through.
Yeah, and like I said, my start, right? I was a receptionist for a data company, and I found my way through that. But I was doing multiple things. I was pouring tea and, designing and presenting to clients and answering phones at the same time. So, don't be afraid of that, because there's so much experience that you can get just in that aspect alone. So now when I look at things from a holistic approach and not kind of a narrow view. And that's, when I interview people for positions, I kind of look at their ability to take a step back and look at the big picture. What is what I'm doing going to contribute to the big picture? And having that understanding is always great. And when you do start wherever you are, context is really important. Trust in what you're doing, but also don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to interview people. Don't be afraid to learn, want to learn more. And it doesn't mean that, you want their position or you want to move up just yet. It's just for your context, so you guys can understand kind of the big picture, because it's going to help you do your job better. Right? If you know what you're going to do and the result or how that affects everything, you can know how to do your job a lot better, and how that's going to impact whatever organization that you guys join. So holistic view, context, don't be afraid to ask questions, definitely make sure you get that with whatever organization that you join, because it's going to help you.
Yeah, and I think one theme that I noticed as we were talking is we never anticipated being where we are at the beginning of our career. So
Mhm.
flexibility is really important. I mean, for goodness sake, the internet didn't even exist when I first started, and now I work deeply in it every day. So 20 years from now, who knows what you guys will end up doing. You just need to have the flexibility to roll with the punches and go where your heart takes you. Any questions for us?
Ooh,
Woo.
who you want to go? Start here.
Yeah, I just wanted to know, how are you beating competition? Because, as far as I know, I came across your website because I was looking for a haircut.
Yeah.
And then I saw the different options, and what I liked was that you're also offering free sessions,
Yep.
Free yoga sessions, Pilates sessions, etc.
Yep.
But what also came to my mind was a site like Groupon.
Yeah.
So is that competition for you? And if yes, how are you
Um,
differentiating yourself?
Yeah, good question. So predominantly, we've been a B2B focused company. So just to be perfectly honest, so from the B2B side, the way we compete is most of our competitors are very niche. So they're really experts in booking, or they're experts in managing your employees. And where we thrive is we're really an all-in-one. So, and, as you guys saw in the video, we were giving you basically a Ferrari for like a Toyota price, right? So we really kind of beat our competition on the B2B side there. Also our customer support. So we have 24/7 customer support, and it's unbeatable. We have not come up against any competitor that has been able to really do that. We've always had internal conversations about like, hey, we have a customer that's paying $600 a month, and then we have a customer that's paying $25 a month. Should they get the same level of customer support? And our CEO was like, heck yeah. Like, that's our model. Like, no matter who you are, what level of business you are, you get support, and you get that kind of hand holding, because we want to make sure that they're successful in our software. So that's one reason why we get a lot of our competitors' business, is because of that support functionality. So that's another, and our innovation is around what customers need. So we're specifically innovating our product based on what our customers are telling us, not like things that we're coming up with, you know, kind of a swag in the air or whatever. So on the B2B side, we beat all of our competition in that way. Now we're just now really starting to focus on our B2C. So our B2C effort originally was just really to have a place for our businesses to kind of house their booking options and their pages, right? As we've kind of naturally progressed, what we've seen is we're really driving business to our customers. Like they're really counting on us to be able to do that. So we hired an SEO expert like a year ago, and he's been able to drive directly to the businesses more SEO, and we're continuing to work on that. We have daily deals for them. We have live stream classes for them. We have all these capabilities. We're actually in the works of revamping our whole vagaro.com site, but it'll be done incrementally, just based around that. But originally the whole idea of Vagaro was more wrapped around the B2B side and less the B2C. And so now we're kind of more focused on that, but the SEO is going to be huge for us. The deals, I think, will be huge for us. And also the way we compete with our competitors on the B2B side is actually having that booking button for any of our customers anywhere they want. So most of our salon people, our customers, they actually get a lot of bookings through their Instagram. Instagram is huge. I don't know if you guys are ever like, I need a new hairstyle, you know, or our tattoo artist. You do your research first, right? And a lot of us in this generation, we're looking on social media. So having that and the ability for them to book is another thing. Also, we build custom apps for our customers. So that's what our customer design team does. So it's not a Vagaro app. It's actually like a salon, whatever app, you know, and it's their brand, their business, and they get all their they can get all their bookings through their branded app. So that's kind of how we're competing there. We do have a lot of room to grow on the B2C side, but on the B2B side, I mean, we're pretty much outmatching all of our competitors right now on that side. Good question.
Hi, so I love what Vagaro is doing, and I really relate with the work you guys do because I have like 3 years of work ex marketing for a textile industry brand, which is a $140 million company, and I was handling the retail branding of that company.
Nice.
And so in India, it was a mass brand. So traditional marketing is something that is very like it's followed. So they had like dealer boards and shop branding, outdoor marketing like billboards, and in the buses also they were branding. So you also said that you guys did wrapping and banners and billboards. So like how popular is it in the US? Because I've not seen much billboards that I see in India.
Yeah.
So how popular?
So it's kind of funny because we were even talking about this with podcasts. At one point, you know, podcasts were like really in, and then they were out, and then now they're in again. Same thing with traditional advertising. So there was a period in time because of all the internet and all the digital stuff that traditional advertising was out of the window. But now what we're learning about traditional advertising is that it can be done in a really successful way, but it has to be intentionally. So you have to have an intent. So you're not really, depending on your product or service, it's hard to get people to do things with traditional advertising, just kind of with that transactional kind of marketing. And it's really hard to measure. So that's where we struggle. So what we focus on when it comes to traditional advertising are the soft sells. So how can we get more followers? How can we get more people to watch our podcast? How can we get them to attend an event? So softer things that we feel like if you saw a bus go by and it was a concert, right, with your favorite artist or whatever, that's something you would go to, right? Versus somebody trying to sell you a software. So we focus more kind of on the softer sales when it comes to traditional advertising. So they're not going to give us like the short-term transactional benefit, but they will give us the long-term. And so how we do it is this year we're measuring them by metro cities. So we're not just saying like, okay, we're going to go, you know, everywhere in the US or just wherever we think the major cities are. We're looking at where our customers really live where we want to expand, and we're focused on those direct areas so that we can see if there's a direct impact in those areas from our traditional advertising. So the measurements are different, right? Our executives don't want to hear, oh, there was a lot of impressions, you know, okay, people clicked a lot, but they're like, okay, but at the bottom line, like how much revenue did that drive? That's what they really care about. And so there has to be an understanding with that diverse portfolio that I was telling you guys, that diverse investment, that some of it is not going to be, some of it's the longer term goal and not the short. So I call it the long game versus the short game. You're not going to get instant gratification off of it unless you do those soft sales of like trying to get people to an event or like to listen to a podcast or those types of things. So for traditional advertising, it's back, but you just have to be very intentional when you do it. Does that
I
answer
just
your
had
question?
one more question regarding the marketing automation role that you mentioned.
What was your
The
question?
marketing automation career that you
Mhm.
mentioned. What is it about?
Marketing automation. So, okay, so for marketing automation, we use HubSpot. And so we probably have about 6 different other softwares that are integrated into HubSpot. The data is coming from sales, from our software, from support, from social media, from everywhere. So paid media, like everywhere that we market, everywhere that we sell, anytime we touch a prospect or a customer, all that data is flowing into one system. And so the automated part is we can set up workflows that say, if a prospect or a customer fits this criteria or this persona or this profile, we want you, HubSpot, to go and push them into this email marketing automation, you know, so they'll get 5 emails. And then if they perform well on those 5 emails, then we want you to score them. So they get, you know, 10 points for every email that they open. They get another 5 points for every landing page that they go visit. Say we ask them to go to a webinar or something like that, they get 25 points for going to a webinar. Once they earn a certain amount of points, then HubSpot will automatically send an alert to a salesperson that says, this is a hot lead. This is somebody that's really engaged in our program. They're interested, they're attending a lot of things. Pick up the phone and call them and close that deal. So it has HubSpot, and there's many other softwares out there like it. But we prefer HubSpot because it's really easy to use. But the automation behind it is amazing. You can take all of the intelligence and all the data that you're collecting and everything that you do to be able to segment and really target whoever it is that you're marketing to. So like I said, I'm not into cars, so I don't want to get any car emails, right? But I am into purses and I am into the spa. So I want to get all of those emails. And maybe I don't want to get things that are out of my budget. Maybe I'm in a certain budget range, right? Or maybe I'm not willing to travel. I only want it in my certain area. So that's all the data that we're trying to collect through all these integrations of softwares, and analyzing what they're searching for, what they're doing, and then we're segmenting them and we're automating all of that. So I don't have somebody that says, okay, how many people do I have here? I'm going to send this email, these 5 emails today. It just does the work for us. We build it ahead of time. It does the work for us. We probably capture 40,000 new, how many new customers do we have a year? I forgot. Like 4,000, 4,000, 5,000, 100,000 new customers every year, like in the free period, right when they sign up. And so we have a lot of people to market to. There's no way somebody can sit there every day and try to segment that data and slice it every day. So we already know who our person is. We already know what they care about. So we pre-build those. So as they come in through signing up, they automatically go through our channels. They go into HubSpot, they fit a criteria, they drop into a workflow, and we're just pulling reports to see how they're performing every day. So that's our yes, behind you.
Hi. So I was just going through the website and it's a very interesting website. I just saw
Interesting.
like your currently the business side, so like you mentioned beauty, wellness and fitness.
Yeah.
Like, do you plan on diversifying into
Yes.
various, and what would those be? Because I also saw that you have collaborated with Yelp and other platforms to
Yep.
help, the current businesses.
Very good
So
question.
Yelp does a lot of reservations for various types of,
Sure.
industries and business types. So just want to know what's your.
Yeah. So to be honest, so you heard Fred, our CEO, like he cared at the time about haircuts. So when we first started, we focused on salons. And then after salons, we started to make this natural progression into spa and wellness, right? Because it's also caring. You can get your nails done, a massage or whatever. And so we didn't do any preliminary work to get there. We just saw it naturally occur because of our software, because of our promotion. So we said, okay, so we started going after salon and then a little more on the spa. So that's where most of our customers are. And then we started to see a natural progression into fitness. And so we've already seen these natural progressions happen. We're already seeing things like dance lessons and guitar lessons and horseback lessons and things like that. So I have a feeling that that's going to be the next one of our verticals that we go after. We haven't dominated, the way I feel, we haven't dominated our market just yet. So most of our marketing dollars are going to still go after those 3 markets, but I see natural progressions already happening for next year and the future years. I would say that's probably one of them. I would say med spa we talked about is another one, because people don't want to get full cosmetic surgery anymore. There's all these little nips and tucks and little things you can do like Botox, right? That are more affordable for people. So it's already naturally progressioning there. So that's one research thing that we would like to go into, because I think that's already something that's on our plate for this year and next year. So yeah, just to answer your question, it's naturally happened. We haven't had to like aggressively go after anything, but the data is just showing us where to go to next, which is amazing, right? That's what you want. You want to know, it's like presenting itself basically of where we should open that to. But yes, we will continue to grow into new verticals.
Oh, that's actually good. I just have an add-on question.
Mhm.
I was also checking your Instagram page and saw a mix of posts which were informative about how do you do, say, paid social media, or how do you do emails. And then I saw a mix of you promoting your clients and doing something for them. So, I mean, what is the strategy here? Because Instagram is something which I check for every company, in general. So that's what I did. So I just want to know, what is the entire point? Because what niche are you trying to do?
So the point of that kind of content is presenting Vagaro as a helpful resource to your business. As Fred has said, a lot of these people got into their business because they love to cut hair, but they didn't necessarily love to do or even know how to do payroll, marketing, credit card processing, your taxes, like all the things it takes to run a business. Nobody's really prepared for all of that, on day one. So they need a helping hand, and we hope to be that helping hand. So the beautiful thing is we have all these different features within the software that help you do that. And now you just need to know how to use the software. It's a sophisticated tool. It takes a little bit of coaching to learn how to use the software. And we're really focused on that. So we don't lose customers that are just too confused. But yeah, ultimately, when people are shopping for different business management software platforms, and they're looking at their social media, they can see that Vagaro is a company that's going to be there for me. They care about me. They understand, again, I keep using these words, but my pain points. And they're helping me in a really user-friendly way advance my business, to get more customers, to manage my employees better, to get a better rate on my credit card processing, all those things. So they don't just view us as a software, they view us as a business partner.
And I think you asked, because she's also asking about our consumer, right? Is it confusing for a consumer on our Instagram? So you have a strategy for that.
Yeah, so basically what we did was spin off new B2C social media accounts. So there it's more about the questions that a consumer would have about dyeing your hair, or that question that was on the one article that I showed, at what age is it appropriate to bring a child to a spa? All those consumer questions. We realized those are very different. So we just spun off new accounts, and now we're just doing different sorts of content on those.
So the B2C side's in very grassroots right now. Yeah, just kicking it off, but slowly they'll transition and you'll start to see a difference. And so the way we identify our software now is Vagaro Pro.
Yeah,
And then, yes, just Vagaro, because that's where majority of all the consumers go, will be our B2C, right? Is that what we call it? Vagaro, just Vagaro. So,
thank you.
yes.
So I have a question regarding your business this thing. For example, I'm a hair salon and I want to list my business to your website. So, but I took your service and I see there are a lot of hair salons competing with me. So in order to compete in that marketplace, you have to again pay you in terms of advertising. And if yes, who will do my advertising? Because I'm a small business and I don't have a marketing specialist to actually do that, right? So will you be helping to those business? And the second question is, in the search. If I'm searching for hair salon, so you will also be promoting my business over there through your website or?
Yeah.
how it will be?
Good question. It's a lot of layers to that one. So for competing, because we do have a lot of salons in our software, that's always kind of a question, like how do we handle the competition between each other? How do you do that in Yelp, and how do you do that on OpenTable if you're a restaurant? So it's really just the nature of like where we are digitally, is that, the feeling is you want to be listed. So the competitiveness really comes with, you want to make sure when you're listed that you actually are 5 stars, you have really great reviews. Your page on Vagaro is really outfitted to show your services in the best light possible. And then we do have that customer design team to help them do that. We do have things like daily deals, where they can advertise deals. We do feature different businesses so we can feature you. So we do offer those marketing capabilities too for them. But we optimize for everybody. So on the SEO platform, we're looking to drive traffic for all salons, all types of businesses within our software, because we want to see them at the same level of success. So it is competitive, but at the same time, it's just the landscape that we live in, right? It's with any platform. So we're not asking them, hey, if you pay more, we'll boost you up. There are some opportunities for them to do that and outfit their pages, and but really they have to just be a solid business with really great services. And we want that authenticity for the consumer, right? That's the best. We don't want to be fake. That's not what our culture is. Our culture is just really that, to build that trust and that authenticity. And so it just depends on the level of business, the services, and we support them whatever they want to do. Hopefully that answers your question. And then there was another part that I wanted to answer, but I forgot. So we are partnering with Google. We have a partnership with Google and we have a partnership with Yelp. We work with them on, I think we have the Vagaro button in Yelp, so they can book through Vagaro if they search for a service in Yelp. And then we're partnering with Google, so we're making some enhancements there as well. So partnerships are key. So you guys will learn that. You'll have your niche area, and yes, we're a feature-rich software, but there's obviously other companies out there that do certain things better. So it's always to kind of partner and leverage, get your learnings, and then if you can build that on your own, build it on your own. But if not, why reinvent the wheel when you can have amazing partnerships with companies that do it super well and that already have the audience captivated. One thing that we're getting ready to offer our customers is the ability to do paid media. So they'll be able to do paid media through Vagaro. We haven't announced it yet, but they'll be able to do, ads through Google and all the different types of platforms, even social platforms through Vagaro app.
So I have a question in regards with how does the Vagaro model work? So like, do you see it like you are that one-stop solution for each and everything? When when a client comes on board, that you're going to do design, you're going to do website, you're going to do Google, you're going to do everything for them? Or is it that like once they come on board, I can see everything on the Vagaro platform. You are like software as a service that you give your software to them, and they integrate everything according to them, and you can see what is happening on maybe their website, or how many store visits are they getting, how many marketing efforts are they putting in. So how does that model?
So the model is that you can get in the software and see anything. You can turn anything on at any time. We call it a toggle. Our video team does like a really great job of like animating that in some of our ads and some of our videos where it shows like it's basically just a toggle. Like our feeling behind it is that that's empowerment for the customer. So a lot of our competitors, pricing wise, they'll either charge them for a large package of things that features that don't use, for a larger price, or they'll like give them very little features and like nickel and dime them along the way. With Vogaro, you get most of the features for a very small price, and then you get the empowerment and control to be able to toggle and add any of the features that you want on there. So it's all open. The way we market it is an all-in-one software, but we do have nurturing campaigns because we do know that gets overwhelming for some people. Some people just come for one particular feature. So we kind of do drip campaigns to try to get them to that level if they're not just ready yet. But when they go into the software, it's open for everybody.
And I have a question on the HubSpot gems, because we have been working on HubSpot. So there is one, I would say one hurdle which we faced was during the GDPR issue in the European countries and the UK, that when we do integration, so HubSpot, it's kind of difficult when you want to integrate it with, the Google platforms like Analytics, the Google Ads, the GTM. So when we do it, it kind of gets difficult. So how do you tackle that situation? Do you tell that, you have to go via the CRM HubSpot, or it's that, you are independent of, you can directly integrate it with Google Ads and stuff?
Yeah, so we don't have that problem just yet. We do market through HubSpot, through like international, areas, and we just try to like manually follow all the protocols. For example, like even in Canada, like there's certain areas that are only French speaking. So we have a person that's converting or translating everything we do into French just so we can market into those particular areas. So we're handling it very manually right now. But as we move forward, I feel like HubSpot, they kind of, even though they may say they're kind of hands off a little bit, and they put the onus on you. So regardless if it's manual or automated or integrated, you're still responsible at the end of the day. So my advice to you is just be really careful with that, which is why I always kind of handle that very manually. We have a legal team that is like in real close contact with our marketing team to make sure that we're following all those protocols. But it is a challenge. Like we're getting that everywhere. It's very hard to overcome. We've even talked to other agencies that work on it, and they all have challenges. So my suggestion is I would start off manually and see if you can find any areas first. Like, it's painful, right? It's not like automated. It's not probably the best way, but it's going to give you a lot of learnings and how to kind of maneuver. That way, when you do start the integration process, you're just more, you're more educated.
Just a follow-up question on that. So did you not try Salesforce instead of?
We have Salesforce, yeah. So we do use Salesforce. We have the Pardot extension of Salesforce. We're actually ending that contract at the end of this month because it has helped in some sense, but we want to move forward just kind of on the HubSpot route. Yeah, Pardot hasn't been as great on the reporting side for us. And as great as the automation side, and with all the flows of data that we have in HubSpot, she's handling it a lot better as far as the segmentation goes.
Right.
Yeah. I'll go here and then here.
So firstly, I would like to both sides, like consumers and the businesses. I didn't know, like you mentioned some of the tools that you guys use in like digital marketing field or like segment, but like I want to know, are there any specific tools that you guys use for analysis?
Oh yeah, we have a lot.
I'm sorry. I wasn't able to hear.
Analytics. What do we use for analytics?
Oh, so many tools.
Yeah.
So that I am looking forward to go in that direction. So I want to know
Yeah.
What tools do you use and like how you use it on a daily basis.
Yeah. So you have some, and then I have some. You want to?
Sure. Well, Google Analytics is a big one for all of our web data. A number of SEO tools, whether it's Moz, Screaming Frog. I'm trying to remember some of the other names of the SEO tools that we use. We use on the PR side, we use a tool called Muckrack that gives us a lot of data about our competitors, about our media mentions, those sorts of things. And and they all plug into a business intelligence tool, Power BI, that we use for dashboards. So we can just get a quick look at any of the different channels that we manage, whether it's, the website or, PR or customer data, customers that are coming in, customers that are dropping off, you can filter any number of different ways. But gosh, we have dozens of
Yeah,
analytics
so
tools.
Google Analytics, they haven't grown as much as I would like to have them to have grown, like in how they do things. So we have been looking at other companies. One is called Amplitude. And why I like Amplitude is because on the paid media side, on the SEO side, everything from the moment somebody has a impression of Vagaro, whether it's an ad or a search or whatever is populated, we'll be able to track their entire journey. And so right now, analytics comes from multiple places. Like we view analytics in our case, I don't know, we're probably operating on like 10 or 12 different paid media platforms right now. Social media platforms, all of that, even HubSpot, what happens in Salesforce. We have the chat feature even that happens on our website, everything that comes through chat, every phone call that's made by a salesperson or a customer support person. This is all data that's tracked. It all goes into, it flows into these the systems all together, and then all the analytics are powered by Power BI, and they're filtered in ways that we like to see them. So we're giving probably our analysts reports every week, probably new reports of how we want to look and slice and dice the data. But yes, we have like multiple software tools and platforms that we use, applications that we use, and they all eventually get to our Power BI, and we build custom reports based on that in our Power BI, even from our software, based on who's using our software, when they sign up, when they drop off, what features they're using, what time they use it, if they're female or male, how old they are, like all those things go into our Power BI.
So like, do you also use
I'm sorry,
do you guys also use the
programming languages? Oh,
Or
yes.
maybe more of like data visualization? As you said, like Power BI, is it more like data visualization or is it like analysis part for programming languages as well?
It's more of the data visualization piece of it. We kind of analyze our data separately. So like our paid media team on our team is probably the biggest group that analyzes data the most. So they analyze their segment. They have their own area of data that they analyze. Our product marketing team has their own data that they analyze. So we all have like all of our separate reports, all of our data. So we just use Power BI to say, this is how we want to visualize it. And there is programming that goes all into that, right? Because there's a ton of different, we even have a data lake that we use where information goes in, and we use that data lake goes into Power BI reports. But we all kind of analyze it in different ways. We all have somebody on our different departments that look at the data the way we need to look at the data. And then we have our executive and leadership reports that we look at it, like how does it roll up overall? So hopefully that answers your question.
I just have a question about like work-life balance, like your experience
Oh,
working
gosh.
there, and
Yeah.
especially in the tech industry, there's, like people are always working more hours than life, like how is that for you?
Yeah, I mean, how's work-life balance, guys, on our team?
I'd say it's way better than my last job. I worked for a big semiconductor company and it was basically 24/7. And it gave me a sort of PTSD, like at any moment, I felt like I might get a Teams message or a call where I need to jump into action. And it happened at the most inopportune times. And I would say at Vagaro, we've got a really great work-life balance. And really, I think the company values wellness of its employees and understands that our employees are more productive when they can go home and recharge than if they're working 24/7.
So we have a goal, and I call it the 70-30. And so last year when I joined, we had some unused budget because of the pandemic. Like obviously there's things we didn't spend on like events because there were no in-person events and things like that. So towards the end of the year or the second half of the year, there were a lot of new things we wanted to try. So we used our budget to kind of try all of these different new things because I wanted to have a solid business plan for this year, right? I didn't want this year to be the year that we try new things. I wanted to be, taking what worked and actually, implementing that in a business plan and then scaling up from there. So last year we spent some time taking that extra budget and we just like threw things against the wall to see if they would stick. And you'll rarely get that at a company. So it was really a joy to be able to try a bunch of new things. And then our board of directors and our leadership team was really like, okay, let's try it. We had a lot of learnings from it, but it was hectic. So we did have a period where, because we were trying to get so many things up and running, it's not like, even with a paid ad, it's not like, hey, I'm just gonna type in and upload a paid ad. Like, what's the concept? What's the call to action? I need somebody to build the creative. Where is it gonna go to? Is it gonna go to a landing page? What do I want them to do? What are they gonna do after that? How do I analyze it? What's the search? What are the search terms gonna be? Like, there are all these things. So it's not like you can just get something just up and running. So there was a lot of effort and a lot of grit that came from the team within those few months. But I think we took a lot of learnings from that to implement that this year. So my goal for this year is that we are a 70-30, which is 70% plan based on our learnings from last year. So we planned a business plan that we'll stick to, and 30%, there's just no way around it. We're still going to be trying new things. There's still going to be things, on paid media, like we optimize every single day. Like, we're looking at the data every day. If something's not working, we're not going to waste thousands or millions of dollars on something that's not working. We're going to pivot and put it into something and try to scale up on what is working. So literally is like, you're playing with stock, right? It's like, I gotta sell this now because it's not doing, it's not doing well. And, we have something that I know is gonna be up and coming. So I need to move my money over here. And that's a daily pivot. So we have certain teams that are under a little more pressure than others, but we're trying to get to that 70-30. And I think that helps with work-life balance. To answer your question, is that I know what I have to do 70% of the time. And then there's that 30% of things that are going to be unexpected. And that's just the nature of the beast. Like, you're not going to escape that from any organization. Yeah.
I think so. We had a great session. I would like Dr. K to wrap it up with a few last words. And then,
I just wanted to thank you guys for coming. It's super interesting.
Awesome.
A lot of the work that we do in a lot of the coursework can be a little abstract, and so it's hard to understand. How does that really fit into a real marketing organization? How is it organized? How do you make decisions? How do you, spin off one B2B social media account into multiple consumer facing ones? So I think it's just been really interesting to hear how rubber meets the road.
Yeah.
And it's also super interesting to hear from a company that is so marketing first.
Yes.
Because as you mentioned, a lot of organizations are sales first.
Yep.
Here in Silicon Valley, a lot of organizations are very product focused.
Yeah.
So it's just really great to hear from marketing.
I think that's evolving, right? Because if you look at the makeup of your students and here and how deep into analytics you guys are, right? And filling the top of the funnel, if you can think back to that big funnel that I showed you guys, and there's different roles for each of you every step of the way. So I really do think that companies are starting to evolve, and it is going to eventually be, there'll be more organizations that are marketing first. Because we are the ones that define the persona, we're the ones that find the customers, we're the ones, so I think, and with paid media, so much data and things that are coming from the marketing organization and then the automation behind it of what we do. So not that sales is ever going to go away, but, marketing, I think, is going to continue to grow with these organizations. And I think things are going to shift. I think you guys are going to see that, and just kind of understanding the talent in the room. I think that's what's going to cause the shift, is that you guys know more than what we knew when we were going through school. We've been learning it based on experience, right? And just kind of trying different things. You guys are actually learning it now. And you have so much more knowledge than I ever did when I was in college and when I was going through this. So I think it really is the talent that's coming up and going that's going to help shift that. So thanks for having us.
Thank you so much.
Remember what I said about networking? Connect with us on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So when we post the job of your dreams, you'll know about it.
We think group
Can we-
Sure.
Yes, I would love that.
I think so we have a class over here, so